My name is Tori Townsend. I'm 34 years old. And last December 31st, my family sent me a text telling me not to come to New Year's Eve. The exact words were, "You'll just make everyone uncomfortable with all the stress." So I spent that night alone. 14th floor, Tribeca. A half-eaten pear. A cup of Earl Grey going cold. A laptop I wasn't allowed to open for another 9 hours because of quiet period rules my lawyers had drilled into me for weeks. 4 days later, I rang the opening bell on the New York Stock Exchange. And while I was doing that, my brother had no job. His wife had filed for divorce. His LinkedIn profile had disappeared. 3,412 connections. Gone. In real time. The last thing to go was his profile photo. He was wearing the tie I had bought him for his birthday. I didn't plan any of that. I just did the boring thing. For 7 years. Without telling anyone. Before we go further, if you have ever been the person your family called too much or too intense or uncomfortable, this story is for you. Hit subscribe. Drop in the comments where you're watching from. I read every single one. Now let me take you back to where it really started. December 2017. I was 26 years old. I had just quit Microsoft. 3 months of savings. A prototype on a second-hand ThinkPad. A bad haircut. At the family Christmas table, I tried to explain what I was building. A lightweight authentication layer that could run on hardware older than most cars my parents had ever owned. My father said, "That sounds like a lot." My mother said, "Honey, bring something that pays before you bring something that explains." And my brother Preston, 30-something, already 3 glasses of wine deep, ski sweater, cranberry sauce in his beard, listened to about 4 sentences of what I was saying. Then he leaned across the table and said, around a mouthful of turkey, "Yeah, have you thought about just going B2C? I could hook you up with guys I know." That was his contribution. Not a question. Not a real suggestion. A hook. Delivered with food in his mouth. Preston had 3 startups the way some men have 3 ex-wives. A meal kit company. An NFT real estate platform. A whiskey subscription box. Every single round, my parents pulled from their retirement savings. Every single close, they called it a learning experience. I drove back to my studio in Queens that night. Sat at a kitchen table with one short leg, a folded napkin wedged underneath it, and I wrote a 5-page business spec. Then I opened the Connecticut Bar Association directory and sent a cold email to a patent attorney named Marisol Ainsworth. I filed the patent in April of 2018. My name only. I told no one. 3 days before my IPO. December 29th, 7:42 in the morning. My mother's preferred hour for delivering bad news. Early enough you can't argue. Late enough she's on her second coffee. The text read, "Honey, we've decided smaller is better this year. You'll just make everyone uncomfortable with all the stress." I read it 3 times. Stress was her code. It had been her code since I was 14. It meant, "We don't want Preston to feel small. You have something. Please hold it somewhere else." 15 years of this. Thanksgivings where my seat drifted to the kids' table. Birthdays where she said, "Let's not make it about you this year, honey, Preston is going through a season." My college graduation where my father checked his phone during my walk. I typed back, "Got it. Happy New Year." I put the phone face down. Not out of anger. Out of reflex. Then, because I couldn't work because the quiet period rules forbade it, I opened a browser tab and typed in a long string of numbers. A patent record I had checked every few weeks for 7 years. Still my name. Only my name. I closed the tab. What I didn't know yet, my brother, at that exact moment, was on the phone with a Bloomberg reporter. New Year's Eve. 9 at night. My cousin Desmond called, whispering, his youngest on his hip. "I'm sorry they're doing this again," he said. "Listen, Preston was drunk at Thanksgiving. He told me, Des, he actually said this. Watch the news around New Year's. Things are going to get interesting for my little sister." I closed my eyes. "He's out of money, Des. He's out of moves." "I know." A pause. His daughter's voice in the background, asking if fireworks were loud. "Happy New Year, Des." I hung up. The fireworks had already started somewhere over the Hudson. Small booms, far and soft. At 12:01 a.m., the phone rang. Preston's name on the screen. I let it ring twice. Then I answered. "What did you do?" His voice was skipping, running out of air. "Dad just saw the news and he's not breathing right." "What news?" "The Bloomberg thing. It aired an hour ago. Dad lost it." My hand went cold. I set the pair down. "Preston, where is Dad?" "He's on the couch." "He can't, Tori, tell me what to." "Hang up." Call 911. I hung up first. Then I opened the laptop. Reading didn't break quiet period rules. Went to Bloomberg and typed my brother's name. Top result. Year-end tech roundup. Tape delayed. First aired at 7:15 a.m. that morning. Title card. The sister-brother duo behind Revenant Laddies' quiet rise. And there was Preston. In the silk tie I had bought him for his 35th birthday. The year I still thought we were on the same team. I clicked play. Minute 1. My sister and I conceived the core architecture together. Minute 2. I've been quietly advising ever since. She's brilliant. I'm the quiet strategic hand. Minute 2:30. We whiteboarded it at our family's Christmas dinner in 2017. Every sentence is shaped like a bell. Round, resonant, designed to sound like it came from inside the company. And then, at 3 minutes and 41 seconds, he leaned forward and said the thing that would undo him. At Brookline Vale, where I'm VP of Strategy, we use a similar pattern in our partner compliance tool. I stopped the video. I went back. I watched it again. My brother had just described internal proprietary architecture at his current employer, on live national financial television. The kind of detail no VP of Strategy has clearance to name in public. It was in his NDA. It was in his onboarding. It was in the non-disclosure he had signed 11 months earlier with both initials and a full signature. I timestamped the clip at 3:41 and emailed it to my lawyer. It was 12:08 a.m. She was already awake. My attorney Mari's voice at midnight is the same as her voice at noon. That is the only kind of lawyer you should ever hire. 3 things, she said. 1. We file a correcting press release, cleared by underwriters, timed for 5:55 a.m. on January 2nd. 2. We do nothing before 8 a.m. on New Year's Day, because Preston's Brookline Vale problem will surface on its own by breakfast. 3. His general counsel is watching that tape right now. So is his chief of staff. So is his crisis firm. They are drafting a termination letter at 1 in the morning. On a holiday. She was right about all of it. 5:53 a.m. TechCrunch. Brookline Vale VP Preston Townsend placed on administrative leave after televised disclosure raises NDA concerns. And 30 seconds later, a second screenshot from Desmond. My mother's Facebook post from the night before, 11:58 p.m. So proud of my son Preston for finally getting the recognition he deserves. Big things are coming. 47 hearts. Sandra from Rotary. Patty from church. A woman named Judith who had typed. He was always the golden one. I screenshotted the whole thread. I saved it in a folder I had been building for 7 years. The folder had a name, for the record. January 2nd, 9:30 a.m. I stood on the podium at the New York Stock Exchange. Marin on my left. Mari on my right. 3 of my earliest employees behind me, Nico, who had taken a 40% pay cut because he believed in a bad chair and a vision. Claire, who had run our first demo for a company that laughed at us and called back 6 months later. And Emmett, who had kept our servers running in a closet for 2 years before we could afford real space. The CNBC anchor, in a red blazer, said my name. Tori Townsend, sole founder and CEO of Revenant Laddies, a cybersecurity AI firm, priced its IPO last night at $18 a share. Valuation, $1.9 billion. Confetti fell, blue and silver. Marin had insisted on the colors. Somewhere in a Greenwich living room, my mother stood up and walked out. My father stayed in the chair. He did not speak. He watched the entire 5-minute segment without blinking. And when it was over, he just set down his coffee and put his hands in his lap. My cousin told me later what my father said at the hospital. She was always going to win. I just didn't want it to be against us. I didn't cry. I stepped out onto the balcony overlooking Broad Street. The air bit at my collarbones. I exhaled and my breath hung in the cold like paper. By noon, the Wall Street Journal had posted 4 paragraphs. Brookline Vale terminates VP after NDA breach on live interview. Preston's name in the first sentence. Revenant Laddies in the second, with the word unrelated attached. His LinkedIn disappeared 90 minutes later. 3,412 connections. Gone. The last thing to go was the profile photo. The tie I had bought him. At 1 p.m., his wife Celeste filed for divorce. She had the papers drafted in November. I drove to Greenwich that afternoon. Sat in the car for 28 minutes before I went in. The house was the same house. White clapboard. Black shutters. Christmas wreath still on the door. I let myself in. They did not stand. I put a folder on the dining room table. 3 documents. A notarized copy of U.S. Patent 10,847,000. a printout of the press release, and a sealed letter from Mari's firm politely requesting, as a matter of corporate record, that the family refrain from mentioning me or my company in any media or social posts for the next 18 months. Not a threat, not a lawsuit, just paperwork. Signed, notarized, delivered in person. My mother came in from the kitchen. "What are you doing here?" "I came to tell you face to face before the paperwork arrived. You're so cold." "I've been warm for 34 years. I'm taking today off." I left the folder. I walked out. I did not slam the door. I didn't need to. Justice never shouts. It just arrives on time with the right paperwork in loafers. 1 year later, I hosted New Year's Eve. 7 people. Roast chicken. 2 candles. A linen tablecloth my grandmother had kept in a trunk for 40 years. Marin. Mari. My cousin Des. 3 of my earliest employees. A bottle of champagne I had kept in the back of my refrigerator, untouched, for 12 months. At 12:01 a.m., I checked my phone. Nothing. No Preston. No Dad. No Mom. I turned it off. Put it in a drawer. Went back to the table. The chicken was still warm. Here is the only thing I know for certain. Dignity is not a style. Dignity is a filing system. Dignity is a patent filed before anyone knows you'll need it. It's a signed assignment agreement on day 1. It's a folder labeled for the record that you build quietly, over years, without telling a soul. The word uncomfortable, remember this, is a word people use when they have lost a privilege and cannot yet say so out loud. You are not the discomfort. You are the end of a long, quiet arrangement. Sign your paperwork. File your patent, whatever your patent is. Hire the boring lawyer. Tell no one. When the call comes, and it will come, you will not shake. If this story gave you something, a breath, a decision, a name for something you've been carrying, hit like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what did your family call uncomfortable that was really just you? I read every single one. I'll put the kettle on.